We got the voice of instrumental harsh reality, man. That's all it is. Let's do.
Everybody, we are on episode number 8, Ruthless and Harp. My co-host Josh Harper, man. How's it going, brother?
What's going on, Ruthless? It's been a minute. What's going on, man? How you doing?
Doing well, man. Hey, you were doing scouting on joint practices and all that stuff, and you've been pretty busy, man. You were busy going on other shows, man. You've been blowing up, my guy.
Oh yeah, it was dope. Just meeting everybody and all the Niner fans and content creators. You know, they all been reaching out, obviously, because I was at joint practices. But no, it's been fun. Talking ball, talking about my favorite team. So I mean, I would never turn down the opportunity to do that. So no, it's been fun.
Yeah, it's been pretty fun, but I'm happy that everybody's starting to give you the recognition you deserve, man. The fact that you're like the top 5 best receiver in Fresno State history, man. Come on, man. If y'all don't watch this guy play, man, he was one of the top best receivers outside of Devontae Adams. This guy was Mr. Reliable for Derek Carr.
Oh yeah, no, there's a lot of receivers that came through Fresno, and a lot of my friends. It's a lot. It's a lot of us. Isaiah Burst, top receiver, at Fresno. Of course, Devontae. Rashad Evans. Yeah, I mean, people don't forget about a lot of players that came through there, but it's a great group of people, and I'm still close with a lot of them. So, shout out Fresno State.
Yeah, for sure. But it's great that they're giving you the recognition you deserve on the platform, man. I've seen you go on everybody's shows, and I thought for a minute maybe you might have lost track of me, but then I said, hey, he can't forget about CG, man, because we built this brand, man.
Oh no, I'm not cut like that. We here, man. I'm not cut like that. We working.
Yeah, we working. It's just a process. But give me your thoughts on the joint practices and all the stuff that you saw.
I mean, yeah. So joint practice, I gave my thoughts on that. I gave my thoughts on the quarterback situation, and to me, just off the 2 practices, there was no quarterback that really stuck out. I would say that Trey Lance looked a lot better than in the past at those joint practices. The preseason game is another thing, and it's just one game. And then I talked about Brock and the lack of arm strength, I would say. But just give him some time to get healthy. Hopefully sooner rather than later. I talked about his interceptions. People are saying it's just practice, but for a young quarterback who's only played 7 games, practice matters. Coming from a former athlete, I mean, you don't have to be a former athlete to know, everything you do, practice or whatever you're doing in your craft, you're doing it to get better at something. You're not doing it to practice bad habits, right? So interceptions are a concern, but Brock Purdy may prove us wrong, and he may be known. He may just be a gamer, right? So we'll see. Hopefully he does prove us wrong, and those interceptions are just a practice thing. But again, practice does matter. So I don't like hearing when people say, it's just practice, this and that. So.
Oh, no, dude, like I get it. You want to perfect it and make it look good in game actions. And it comes from a guy who's played it on the football field. So let's say hello to all the people in the comment section. We always like to say hello to every individual. Shout out to John Jay, which he's under a different account. Salute to my Lakers brother. Just kidding. But what's up, Cardcast? What's up, Mikey, the Saints fan? He is a huge Derek Carr fan, like from the looks of it.
Yeah.
Roberto Hasty, the original from the 559 actually, but lives in Montana. But huge shout out to him. And Crazy Juice, my boy from LA. How's it going? And we got our boy, man, the one that you appear on the show, man. We got Marco, man, Clutch Jeans.
Marco.
Yeah. Hey, I'm working with this guy pretty soon. But hey, I was actually going to have him appear on a guest, but he had a busy schedule. But we'll work on something at some point.
Okay. No, definitely.
Yeah. Oh, definitely, bro. He's a good dude. I had him on one of the draft shows. Like, I think it was on day 1 or day 2 of the draft, and he had some good thoughts of players that we were looking at. But he had some good scouting report on a Stanford player that we were talking about, but he wasn't that high on.
Oh, who was that? Who was that?
That Elijah, I forget his name. Elijah something.
What position?
He was like a receiver, but he was a tight end.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he wasn't too high on him, but I forget. Elijah Higgins, I think. Elijah Higgins. Okay. Yeah. Elijah Higgins, that was his name. I remember I was mentioning his name out there. But okay, so as far as the recap of the Raiders and Niners, I mean, what got your attention out of that game?
So first things first, it was a sloppy, ugly game for the Niners. And again, a lot of those dudes. I mean, there's a few out there that's gonna play, but a lot of those dudes aren't gonna play. No disrespect to them. You know, I'm not in the business of disrespecting any of the players, but a lot of them, you know, that's just the reality of it. They're not gonna make that team. So, you know, I was looking forward to seeing some of the stuff that Trey Lance showed me in the 2 practices at the joint practice. I was looking forward to seeing him do it in the game. Unfortunately, he didn't. Not to say that, you know, throw him down the toilet. You know, he's done. You know, he just has to come back on Saturday and show us what the Niners, I would say the Niners coaches see in practice as well. They mentioned his growth and, you know, how much better he is now than he was last year. So I would say that. And then just the defensive line, offensive line, they, you know, it just didn't look really good at all whatsoever in the joint practices or in the game. So yeah, it was an ugly game, you know.
Yeah, it was pretty ugly. Like even the joint practice, the way you explained it, bro, they were throwing interceptions. They were struggling. I don't know if this Raiders defense is legit or not, but they looked like they were in that game. But that's too soon to hype on. But yeah, the Raiders, they got their Super Bowl. You know, the Super Bowl, the champions. But let's give them a golf clap.
Yeah, I mean, every win is a win. So go ahead, man.
Yeah, go ahead, give them a golf clap. Okay, so let's go with the 5 players who stood out against the Raiders. That caught your
all right, I wrote it down. Let me see what it was. I know for one, it was Ambry Thomas. I had a chance to go back and watch the film, and I'm not too big on Ambry Thomas, but this game, you know, he made some nice plays. Even when the ball wasn't thrown his way, he was in position. I want to say he had a few nice breakups. So hey, you know, Ambry Thomas, if you're a new player, man, let's go. I mean, that's only going to help the Niners, right? Who else did I like? Cleveland Farrell. So not only that sack, he was doing a good job of setting the edge. He was doing a good job of playing the run and using his hands. He seems like he can be somebody that, you know, we can rely on, you know, if you know, him and Drake Jackson interchanging, or depending on how much Drake Jackson has improved. I think we can depend on Cleveland. That's only if Bosa is there, right? We need Bosa there. So,
for sure.
So that makes everything, you know, flow much better. So if Bosa's there, I think Cleveland, you know, he'll be able to help this defensive line from what I've seen in this game. So
yeah, he looked pretty decent. Like, he did stop the run. He did get enough pressure to the quarterback and got the sack. So that's what stood out. So you got 2 more. I mean, you got 3 more players to come to mind.
So my third player was, I would say, so I'll give a combination of Ronnie Bell and Deshaun Jameson, and that's just because I was kind of worried on who was going to return kicks and punts, and I think the both of them looked like naturals back there, especially Deshaun Jameson, I would say. So I'll put them together because, you know, I think they can hold it down until Ray McLeod is back. And then not only returning the ball for Ronnie Bell, but he ran hard on the jet sweep. He seems like he's a tough player. I know he had to drop. That's going to happen with young receivers, but I think he played well and had a pretty good game against the Raiders.
Yeah, I can't disagree on that. Jameson did show some nice return skills, but that flag. But he did show the ability. And then Ronnie Bell, he kind of seems like he embraces the contact a lot better. So I can see why you went with him. So,
And then so my last one is the old vet. He had some clutch catches, and then he was open on a lot of other routes. I would definitely say Chris Conley. So yeah, so those are my six. Six players. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll give you my 5 breakout players that I felt that were good. So number 5, Jalen Graham. The guy was everywhere on the field. He was making tackles. I think he could make a strong case to maybe be the starter. I mean, do you agree or disagree? Because I like the film.
Yeah. So we'll talk about him later in the show with players who we think should play more. But no, I like what I saw so far. He's from the rookie linebacker. So no, I agree.
Then I go with number 4, Ronnie Bell, which he made some good catches. He did a solid return, so I would definitely put him at number 4. He could make a strong case to make the roster, not just by doing special teams, but maybe being that reserve receiver that could step in.
Yep.
So there's another guy that caught my attention, and let's see. As far as that, I know there's a lot of criticism on Trey. I think Trey did okay, so that's why I'm giving him 3 because honestly, it took him a couple of series to get a groove on, and he started clicking. So I don't get where the media is getting all that stuff from. I thought he did solid. I mean, it's encouraging a little bit. Like maybe the release needed to be quicker, but he actually did a lot better than Sam Darnold and the rest of those guys. So, I can see why. Little here and there, but then number 2 for me, as far as like a standout guy, okay, so when you look at on defense, Clelin Ferrell he could make a strong case to be a starter over Drake Jackson if he keeps it up. I don't know, but he looks good, so I'll have to go with him. And then in the secondary, I guess you can say Ivory Thomas, but that would be too high. I don't know. I can't put Ivory Thomas, so I can't. But I do like what I've seen from him. But I'm going to go with Jair Brown. He made some nice tackles. He kind of stands out a little bit, and I definitely like to see more of Jair Brown.
So I would actually add one more. I just ran the film back again and had to watch a few of the defense snaps. Taylor Hawkins. He showed up. He was flying around and he let it be known. After the plays, he was jumping up and down, celebrating. His energy. You can feel his energy. Through the video screen. So Taylor Hawkins. I'm not saying that he's going to be a great player, but he played well. I like what I saw. I think he has a chance to push for a roster spot. If depending on how he does in special teams. So. Taylor Hawkins, I'll definitely add him to my standout list for sure. He had a good game.
It's an underrated standout too. I did see him make some plays, and since we're throwing a little bit of honorable mention, I'll throw a player out there that you might want to pay attention to. I know this sounds biased, but Braden, man, made a nice key tackle on special teams. Yep. If we can get some more snaps out of the kid, I would like to see more. But I have to say Troy Fumagalli did good. Yards after the catch, that catch. You seen that play where he made the catch and actually broke a tackle and moved the chains. I like that about Troy Fumagalli.
Yeah, and he's been in the league for some time now. I expect those type of plays from veterans. You still got to put it on film. So yeah, I like what I saw from Troy. But he's a vet. He's done it for some years. But I think it's going to take something special for him to make the squad, and that's just my opinion.
Oh yeah. So I know you're not in the business of trashing players, but we have to go with the 5 disappointing players. We don't have to be like Michael Lombardi and the rest of those criticism. We just have to go by how we look at the tape. So you go first. You give me your 5 most disappointed players. You can throw an honorable mention. I'll go next.
I won't have any honorable mentions for these ones because I put like groups together. So I'll definitely say Kinlaw. I was kind of big on Kinlaw coming in. I felt like he was healthy, and I was hearing a lot about him and the strides he made. Um, and what I saw on the film is somebody who is super strong. When he wants to, he can get in the backfield, but then the next play he's pushed all over the field, out of the holes. He's creating these big holes. So I don't understand. He just has to put it all together and get consistent. But he definitely made my list of disappointing players just because of how inconsistent he is, and you know the lanes he was creating by getting pushed around. He's a big, strong dude. I don't think he should be getting pushed around like that. Um, so yeah, he's on my list. Um, and then another one, a player who I felt like we were going to have to, depend on, or we're going to have to depend on, um, Isaiah Oliver. He's coming into a role that was highly coveted by us, and Jimmy Ward played his ass off in that role. So what I saw on Sunday was a player who either didn't look ready to play or he's just not that good. So um, Isaiah Oliver is on that list, and he got picked apart a few times. His key is his biggest strength. What I was seeing and reading over the summer was tackling. He was nowhere to be found um, around tackles or anything like that. So I would say I'm probably the most disappointed in Oliver. I hope it was just an off game, off week being in Vegas. But yeah, he definitely disappointed me in the game, and he's somebody who's projected to be the starting nickel, right?
Yeah.
Um, and I think they should open that competition up, which I think they are, and especially if Ambry Thomas is a new player, and if that's who he is, if the Ambry Thomas we've seen on Sunday, if that's the new Ambry Thomas, I would love to see Demo move inside sometimes, give zero some nickel look, Womack. So my third disappointing player, and I don't want anybody to take this the wrong way, or overreact to this. Trey Lance, right?
Okay.
I saw what he did in practice. Um, he looked really good. He looked comfortable. Besides that one, his like last rep in team where the offensive line was just getting killed by the Raiders defensive line in practice. So I would definitely say, yeah, Trey is one of the disappointments. I went back. I was able to see the film, because most of the time the film is not as bad as what it initially looks like, right? So I actually seen more, right? So Trey Lance missed a lot of throws. The quarter. I watched a breakdown on the quarterback school on Trey Lance, and
JT
he did.
O'Sullivan.
JT O'Sullivan, who's really great. I love watching his show. He missed a lot of open throws, which I think he should have made. I think Trey Lance needs to just go out there, play, don't worry about messing up. Sling the ball around. Some of the sacks that he took, I would say he did hold the ball a little too long, but let's just keep it a buck. Like, that offensive line played terrible for the most part.
Yes.
They played terrible. So that leads us and yeah, Trey Lance needs to let the ball go. There was open players for when he did have time. There was open players, and I kind of criticized Shanahan, saying like, oh, these play calls. What is he doing? He's not trying to set Trey up for success. But I go back and look at the tape, and there were players open. Trey just has to let it rip. I'm not down on Trey. He's still young. He needs more reps. And I think he still can be a special player, but potential is one thing. You still have to put it together. And I still believe in Trey. So
He has to come with more reps. He has to play more, and it has to build confidence. Like you said it best, and those other three guys that you mentioned, Moses agrees with you 100% about Oliver, man. Like, this is coming from a DB coach, man. This is coming from a guy who's an old school coach. He likes to scold a lot of DBs, man. So he's on point. Like, if you ever had this guy on your show, he's a Fresno guy. This guy will he just knows it all, bro. This guy's cool as hell.
Yeah, and Oliver just looks slow and stiff. He looked like like he was a safety out there. He just
Yeah,
didn't
he did.
move well, like an old school safety at that. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that Nichols position may be up in the air, but no, I agree with him.
Yeah, I mean, as far as trade, there was the mixed reviews. That's why I was not going too hard on him because I felt like he did completed like 66.5, and even though he had a slow start, the offensive line, it kind of kills your confidence. Maybe that's what it was, but
Yeah,
we'll
and
see.
it could be, but the offensive line is one thing. I don't want to create every excuse for Trey because I mean there was players open, and I'm a Trey fan, man. I wish Trey all the success. I hope he gets a lot better, and I hope Saturday he lets it go. Because I think he can throw that ball. Just let it go, Trey. So
Okay, so that's your third one. So what's your last two?
my last two is the defensive line unit and the offensive line unit. I mean, I was going back, man. The Raiders had crazy running lanes, opening holes. I probably could have got back out there and got a few yards, man. It was crazy. So, yeah, I would say. And then the offensive line, we know what the offensive line did. There was plays where you know they let just one person through, and Trey had to run for his life, and so I would definitely say the offensive line and defensive line played terrible. Just to put it like that.
Yeah. And then as far as like my disappointing players, yeah, I gotta say Isaiah Oliver kind of made a disappointment because dude, we signed you to be that guy. Now it's gonna be a competition possibly. So that's a little concerning. I want to see if he is the real deal. We just signed this guy to a 2-year deal. So yeah, I'll put him at number 5 for sure. I mean, let's see. Javon Kinlaw, I told you about this Kool-Aid, bro. I feel the sour, bro. I feel a sour taste out of Javon Kinlaw. I've told you about this Kool-Aid. This is how bad. This is a bad taste, bro. Oh, that's bad taste for Kinlaw. But I had to do that to throw the joke out of it. But no, but in all seriously, he was a disappointment. He got pushed over. And I tried to tell you about this Kool-Aid, bro. It don't feel right.
Man, I was optimistic, man. I was optimistic, but
okay, so there's another. Okay, so as far as the third guys, okay, I'll mention the entire offensive line. God, that was terrible. That was like playing the JV football team. It's like I was playing for the JV team, but that's how bad the offensive line was. Let's see. As far as a player that just like, okay, so if we're going to the next one, so it would be like number 2 would be the one that was mostly disappointing with Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold, you've been a veteran, bro. You played for so many years. You're on your third team. How are you making a strong case? And then coming from you saying that he didn't do too much, that's disappointing for a guy who's got more experience. He should be able to score a touchdown on a third or second team defense. That's why I'm kind of critical on him a little bit. And then number 1, my disappointment for number 1, it's got to be pretty obvious. But for this player, I mean – I don't know, like Ty Davis Price just didn't seem to like impress me as much. I don't know why. I just didn't see that explosive runs like I thought I would.
Oh, okay, yeah, Ty Davis Price.
Yeah, a little disappointed. Yeah,
he had a few runs here and there, but as far as like consistency, and I think that has to go back to the offensive line as well. Yeah. I mean, it's a group thing. So running backs and offensive line, so they got to get it together on Saturday. So. He was one of the people I was excited to see. Just didn't see too much. And as far as Darnold, I mean, people hold him to it's crazy. They hold him to a different standard than Trey Lance and things like that. Yes, you see the arm talent. He's always had the arm talent, and you probably see it even more now because he's a veteran. He's been doing it for 5 years, 5, 6 years, whatever. Yeah. But he's a turnover machine, and I don't know. I just don't see what everybody else sees in Darnold and what they think he can just turn the Niners into a Super Bowl team. I think it's got to be Purdy, or it's either Purdy for sure or develop Lance. You gotta pick and choose. Darnold is, yes, like he had some throws where you're like, man, I can see why he was the 3rd overall pick. But we're 5 years later, like. Yeah, he's more comfortable. He's a vet, of course. He's gonna be able to show it a bit more. But yeah, I don't. People hold Darnold to a different standard than they hold the young Trey Lance, who who's only played 4 or 5 games in his whole career.
Yeah,
in
and
like
it's hard to
4
judge
years.
it.
Yeah, it's hard to judge it. So, I mean, they knew that coming in. So you gotta. I don't know if they had a set plan for Trey Lance to to get him going. So
Yeah, that's what it was. Like, if they knew what they were going to get at a trade, they knew that this was going to be because they had Jimmy Garoppolo being that bridge quarterback. So that's what it was. But let's look at 3 players that you want to see play more. Like, we'll see. Maybe we might get some more games out of them against the Broncos. But I'll go first on this one.
Okay.
So I guess number 3 for me would be, man, I want to see more of Braden Willis, just because I want to see if he is the number 1 tight end. I mean, number 2. Number 2, my bad. Number 2. I want to see if he is the number 2 guy, because I see a lot of good stuff in training camp. He stood out, and that's all I've heard about, because he's making catches. He's getting the chemistry with Sam Darnold and Brock Purdy and Trey. They like him as the other option. So I want to see more of him. And then as far as that, I want to see more of Jameson. So that's number 2. I want to see more of Jameson on defense. Maybe he could be the nickel. Maybe. A little bit more of D. Winters, just because I want to see how – because I've seen some tackles. They were pretty nice, but I got to see a little more of D. Winters.
Okay. So those are your 3?
Yeah, those are my 3 guys.
I
Yeah.
like those. I like those. I mean, I like Jameson a lot better as a returner than a corner nickel. But hey, we'll see. We'll see. So my 3 was I'm gonna give you 3, and then I'm gonna split one down the middle. So
Okay.
So I want to see more of Ambry Thomas. I gotta see it. Can he capitalize on what he did this game on Sunday, or was it just a fluke? I don't know. I gotta see more I want to see more with Ambry, because if he can take a step forward, that's gonna be great for our defensive backfield. And we already talked about it. He had a good game. And then Braden Willis, you said that. I just think he has the most. Well, obviously outside of Kittle, he has the most talent in that tight end room. Again, I'm gonna say it again. Outside of Kittle,
Outside of Kittle, that's
outside,
the word. That's the word.
Yeah,
It's not being biased. I've seen a lot of him standing out, and plus, I got a little sneak peek for everybody else to tune in for Saturday. His dad's going to be the guest.
Nice. So yeah, Braden Willis. I want to see him in there earlier. I want to see him get more playing time where they're actually throwing the ball. Maybe he's played later because they want to see him block more. Maybe that's the case. Maybe they had a plan for that. But no, I want to see what he'll do in the season, and that's going to be that second tight end who can receive the ball, or who can catch the ball, create separation, and block. So that's what I want to see. And then my 3 and 4, which I put 4 instead of 3. I want to see D. Winters and Jalen Graham a lot more. So D. Winters, he showed his speed on the field on a couple of occasions, sideline to sideline, and I think that's special. And then Jalen Graham, I saw him shoot one of the A gaps and make a tackle on the backfield. I got to see more. They looked good for rookies out there, and I think that one of them can break the starting lineup at that Sam position. Like, nobody really stood out, in that first unit with help me remember that name. Flanagan Falls, those dudes. So yeah, I want to see more of them. They're athletic, they're talented, fast. I want to see, especially D. Winters. So I want to see those 2 rookies.
But if I was a betting man, I would say Jalen Graham would probably be that guy. I just think there's a lot of film on this kid. He's making tackles. He's everywhere on the football field. And I talked to a former Purdue player who happened to play for them, and he's very high on this kid. He says that the Niners got themselves a steal. So it's like, it's coming from a guy who played in the NFL and had the most interceptions in Purdue history.
Nice.
Yeah, Stuart Swagger told me that was the guy he wanted the Raiders to get, and he said he's a good player.
Yeah, so I mean, his peers speaking highly of him. That's another thing. So, let's see some more, man. I already can't wait till Saturday. Let's see some more Jalen. Jalen and Winters, man.
I want to see some more Graham. I want to see some Willis before that game comes in. But this is what's been bothering us all offseason, man. Why is the media so hard on Trey, man? I don't get it. Like I just don't.
You know what? It just the national media's critique of Trey Lance. It doesn't feel like they actually watch. You're hearing things like he can't read the defense. He's reading, like I saw on Sunday. He read the defense. He read the right play. He just wouldn't let it go. He would not let the ball go. He was pump faking, second guessing himself. And in the national media, it just, I feel like, and I think I heard somebody even say this on Twitter. I heard somebody say that the national media, they see it as a hot topic and to get views and to bring more fans to watch their show. So they're speaking on Trey in a negative way. And that's what I think. I don't think they should be talking to Trey like this, about Trey like this. Yes, he's not where he's going to be in the next year or two. He definitely needs more reps. But he's gotten injured. He sat out a whole year, and he hasn't had a chance to play and get better. So I don't think the national media actually knows what's going on. They're just, it's like a copycat league, I would say.
Yeah, it's pretty much. But what's your reaction to this video?
As you go down this road with Lance, it just becomes harder and harder and harder. And you could show all the clips of him moving and all that stuff. At the end of the day, when his mama lifted him from the crib, he just didn't have that quarterback instinct. He is not going to be the backup quarterback. I don't know what they're going to do with him, but there's no chance. There is no chance based on the evidence that I've seen and based on what I've heard.
Michael, I asked you this before we ended the Lombardi line yesterday on VSiN. I think that he might be competing to stay on the 53-man roster. Like, is that where we at with Trey Lance right now? Like, are these reps looking for him to be able to say, can he stay on this roster and be a viable 49?
Well, I think you got to look at this, right? Like, that once you reach a conclusion on a player, okay, once you really have a handle on who the player is, then you've got to make some decisions.
So what's your thoughts of it, man? Like, even as a player, you would have to have a better understanding of what was that about, man?
I mean, that pick him up as a mama and all that, like, I don't think that's called for at all. But he has the right to form an opinion on Trey. Just the way they're going about it, I don't really like that. I don't know.
There's a better way to do it.
There's a better way to do it. But Trey Lance is not where he should be. He's had some setbacks. But what I saw in practice is a different version of Trey. I can't wait, and I hope he shows it in a preseason game where all the fans can see it. That way I can stop hearing don't put so much stock in practice. Practice, hey, that's the only time I've seen him since last year. So I'm gonna give him his flowers. But I don't like how Lombardi went about it. I mean, he has the right to form an opinion on Trey. If you don't think Trey is good or you don't think he's going to be good, that's fine, right? I think he has a chance. Right now, do I think he's good? No, I don't. But I think he has a chance to be special, and he showed that. I seen that over the two practices, and then on Sunday, I saw what I saw last year from Trey. So, I think he needs more reps. Will he get it with the Niners? I don't know. Do I hope so? Yes, I hope so. I'm rooting for the dude, though, for sure.
Yeah. And speaking of Twitter, man, I seen your reaction on Greg Papa's video, man. I just wanted to chime in on this topic because I know you're not very high on Sam Darnold, but what was your thoughts of this guy, man? This play-by-play voice guy, man. This guy's just putting too much stock like he was with Brandon Allen. Now Sam Darnold?
Yeah, no, that's crazy. Brandon Allen and Sam Darnold, they're veterans. They're supposed to be a certain way. If not, why are they even in the league, right? So they're supposed to have that veteran presence. They're supposed to make the easy throws. Sam Darnold just so happens to have some crazy arm talent, which I'm not denying. But he hasn't done anything with it, right? There's quarterbacks that's come in and had crazy arm talent and have just been dismissed off the bat. Why are we bringing up Sam Darnold and thinking he can be the savior to take the Niners, to that next level? I mean, I think Jimmy Garoppolo is better than him. Why did we get rid of Jimmy Garoppolo then? Right? You see where I'm going with this? So that's why I laughed. Like we have a quarterback who can be special. We have a quarterback who did special things. Trey can be special. Um, if the Niners are giving up on him, I don't know why they're giving up on him. Let him play behind Brock. You know, we had these crazy injuries. Brock has done great things and special things, so we have our starter right there. As far as Sam Darnold, I just don't know. And what I've been hearing and reading is Trey Lance has outplayed Sam Darnold all the way through camp. So I don't get why we're just dismissing Trey Lance. I mean, yeah, he's a third overall pick, but so was Sam Darnold, right? Sam Darnold
Yeah,
hasn't shown
both of
us
them.
anything, right?
Yeah, he hasn't shown enough, but like, okay, so this is coming from a guy who was at the practices, right? And you had good evidence, you got reports and all that stuff. So we want to clear those naysayers, those ones who believe those other stories. So like, Trey did outplay Darnold in practice, right?
Yes, I'm not going back on that. He did for sure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
See, I take a word out of Josh because Josh has credential, he has credibility, he's played in the NFL, and he's actually been in joint practices and a lot of stuff. So anything that my co-host says, I'm going to take his word 100%.
Yeah.
So that's not even.
He still has to show it in the games though. Like,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, I get where people are coming from who haven't seen him and saying that you're putting too much stock in practice, but practice is where he has to get better. He's going to get better through practice because Brock Purdy is going to be the starter. So yes, practice means a lot.
It helps you improve in some ways. It has a meaning of perfecting stuff. Like when you go to the games, you want to make sure you execute the plays. So that's what's so important about it. But it's always important. Like, why do you feel practice is important for players now? Like, why do you think it's so important just from a player perspective?
I mean, you gotta keep refining everything, right? Like, if practice wasn't so important, you wouldn't see the top players practice Monday through Friday or whenever they practice, right? To get ready for the games. Practice is where you get the game plan down. Practice is where where you learn about yourself. Like, oh, can I make this throw? Oh, I can't make this throw. What can I do better to make this throw? For corners, your technique. You're getting your technique down. Practice is super important. If it wasn't important, teams wouldn't practice Monday through Friday.
Yeah, it's important to have a communication with the team and actually gel and work on stuff they need to improve on and execute it on the game. So that's what practice is for, and that's what we do on those daily bases. So it's like, if you're not committed to the team, then why bother? You got to practice. You got to put the extra work.
Yeah, no, definitely. So,
yeah,
I mean, I can talk to a few players who say like, if you like, I need to practice. Like, star players, I know a star player that says, practice is super important. So, yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's a lot of players that you play with that take practice seriously. So I wouldn't discount it whatsoever. But let's get on to that little preview topic of the Broncos and Niners, man. This is going to be like a Saturday's game. So what you looking forward to this upcoming game?
So I hope Brock Purdy gets like a series. I know they probably won't give him a quarter or anything, which I don't blame him. I hope he gets like a series, to get back in the game flow of things. I hope Braden Willis is out there quicker rather than later when they're just running the ball. And I'm excited for Trey to get that bad taste out of everybody's mouth. I already know. So once and if he does have a pretty good day on Saturday, it's going to be, well, it's just preseason.
That's the excuse we're going to hear. That's the naysayer.
I know that's going to happen. But again, I'm rooting for the kid. I see the potential, but potential is just potential. I hope he goes out there. Yeah, you got to show me. I hope he goes out there and has a much better day than he had on last Sunday. And then I want to see. I just want to see as a team this offensive line. I want to see them, come together and have a much better outing. And then the young linebackers, I'm excited to see them as well. Hopefully they get on the field. But really, I'm just ready for them to get that bad taste out their mouth. I know it's preseason, but you never want to lose like that.
Especially to a rival to the fan base. That's just a bad taste. And man, like, okay, since you're excited about Braden Willis, was he bigger than what he was in person?
Yeah, he was a pretty big dude, wide, thick paws, but he's a pretty big dude.
You thought he was going to be smaller, right?
Yeah, I definitely thought he was smaller, but no, he looks the part for sure.
Yeah, like definitely looking forward to Saturday with his dad because his dad's going to give me some good, interesting stories about him. So this guy's he's actually going to start working with me on a podcast probably in a few weeks after his vacation, after the interview. We'll probably work a project. Maybe we'll get him on sometimes, maybe every now and then. Maybe we'll try to work out something with Braden to come on.
That'd be tough.
Yeah, but he can contact him. He'll get in contact with his son and talk to the agent for him.
That'd be pretty dope.
Well, what I'm looking forward to this Broncos game, Niners and Broncos, actually is I just want to see Trey rebound, even though he didn't do too bad. That's the thing. But if he throws it quickly and gets rid of the ball, then I think he'll be all right.
Yeah.
Definitely, I want to see more of Braden Willis, but it really depends on how they use him. And I want to see Ty Davis-Price have a bounce-back game at least. Play a little better at least. And the offensive line, they got to do better. Because I don't want to be an O-line coach and crap on them and tell them this is what you're doing wrong and you need to do it right.
Right.
Man, just like Moses trashes on the DBs, I like to trash on the O-line because they got to step up a little better.
Mm-hmm. No, definitely. So
yeah, definitely. So so since we got a little extra, man, you're on the spotlight, Josh. You can ask me any questions, or you can just see what the fans got in mind, bro. We're just here. We're open.
Yeah, let's go to the chat and let's see if they have any questions for us, me or you. I actually like that question right there.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go ahead and answer that. So you know what? I don't know. So as far as like coming out to his defense on social media is one thing, but every time reporters or anybody ask about Trey Lance, there's nothing but positive things that teams that players say about him. But I think it's a little different to expect players to go out their way to comment on something that that's being said about Trey Lance. So I don't think it's that they're not coming to his defense because, like I said, when there's reporters in their face asking them questions about Trey, it's nothing but positive things, and they always speak on his progress that he's made since last year. So no, I don't think it's that his teammates are not coming to his defense.
I think they're just more common and collected. It's not like they're going at him like in that way, but I mean, there should be some teammates taking some defense in a way. Like, hey, man, the teammates even said it's nothing personal with Trey. They respect him. They actually adore him as a teammate. So I haven't heard any negative about the teammates or the locker room. They seem to really like the kid. So it's like that's always been the thing with Trey. He's a really likable kid, but he's just playing football. There's a difference, but.
Yeah,
a lot of work in progress and all that stuff. So, since we got a little extra, you can give me some questions, Josh, and whatever you want, man, because you're the star.
So put me on the spot. Let's see. Let's see. Chat doesn't have any questions for my guy CG.
Hey, nobody got no questions except for that one guy. I think it's been pretty quiet. Let's see. No, they're just talking like Trey and some other stuff. Oh, want to talk about the Quatress Night topic since my DB coach threw it out there?
Nice. What is he, number
43?
43? Yeah, I actually liked him a lot last preseason. I got to take a look at him for this one. How do you like him, CG?
He seems like he's a very versatile DB. Kind of seems like he just needs a little more season, and I think he'll be good. I think Moses is just too biased with this kid because he played with his son in college. That's what.
No, I mean I liked him. I really did like him. Last preseason I didn't get to see much of him, or he just didn't, stand out. I'm gonna go back and watch and see what he did out there. But I definitely liked him last year in the nickel, and he played corner. I think some safety too, right?
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, we can check. Oh, let's see what he's got to say here. I just don't see any hype with. Oh, I just don't. Let's see. I just don't see what the hype is with Brock playing with All Stars. You know why the hype is so high on Brock Purdy? I'd definitely like to answer that question. I just think that they're giving him the hype as the next Tom Brady. Like, I don't get it. Like, yeah, you got all the talent. They're calling him the greatest draft pick of all time now because he became the last pick in the draft, took us to the NFC Championship game, and he actually kind of made himself look good on his part. You know, like if you're the last pick in the draft and you're actually like the third string quarterback come out of nowhere and take this team to the NFC Championship game, there's going to be a lot of hype on you because you were the last pick, of course.
Yeah, I mean, his standard wasn't anything. I mean, 7th round draft pick, Mr. Irrelevant. He did, for whether he was drafted 7th round or not, he came in and had a really good season. Those 7, 8 games, he played really well, regardless of if you were a 7th round pick or not. For a rookie, he played really well. But I don't know if we should crown him just yet the next whatever, right? Whether it's Tom Brady, Kirk Cousins, anything. Like, I want to see a full season. I hope I hope he's the next Tom Brady, because that means we're going to win Super Bowl next year.
Yeah, championship after championship.
Exactly. So,
and then Shanahan becomes a new Belichick on offense.
Exactly, right? So let's kind of, let's give him his flowers. He balled out last year. Yeah.
But I might have to tone down the flowers for a while until he proves this upcoming season, because what if it's a fluke season? Then what? I'm not trying to talk negative about it, but you know how this season where the defense didn't expect it, and now they have a full off season on him, and he's coming off an injury, so that could be very challenging for Brock Purdy. Mm-hmm. And to let those people know, I don't hate Brock Purdy. I actually like the kid. I'm just not falling in love with the hype, because it's like falling for Jimmy G again. That's what it seems like.
Yeah, I mean Jimmy G, but he's a lot more mobile, and he can make some plays off schedule with his legs and make those wild throws. But I'm pumping the brakes on all this hype, man. It's unfair to Brock Purdy. I think it's unfair to him because now we're expecting him to be something that he may not be. He could be. I mean, he was last year. He's coming off an injury, UCL injury.
Yeah, those take it kind of has a lot of that limitation. But since he's kind of been off restriction, he's been able to practice. So it's kind of been. I think I'm excited to see if he can get some chemistry and build a rhythm before they let him rest. But and
again, you got to remember how stacked this Niners team is, right? It's not that hard to just control the game and run left, run right, don't turn the ball over, and the Niners could win. So it's not, but I just want to see I just want to see where he's going to take his game from last year, and and I think he can do it. Let's see.
Yeah, and I think he will, because I think it just has to go with, because you got the same weapons, and I think it's only going to get better. Maybe a better right tackle. I mean, McKivitz can't be any worse than McGlinchey. Actually, I'm excited to see how we respond. I don't know if McGlinchey's actually going to play with the Broncos this game, so that might be interesting.
So it's crazy. I think he should. He hasn't proved himself. I want to see him out there.
Just so we can get to the quarterback.
And I got it. I mean, not McGlinchey. I'm tripping. I thought you were talking about McKivitz.
No. I said for the Broncos, McGlinchey.
Oh man, we'll get it. Let's see.
McKivitz. We got to see some reps from McKivitz at the Niners. We got to see if he is good.
Wait, so did he play last game?
I don't think he did.
Yeah, you got to get out there.
I think Jalen Moore played in quite a few other guys, and then we had that one guy, Leroy Watson, whatever his name is.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, Matt Pryor, are you serious? Is that the best backup we can get?
They might have to look into some backup offensive linemen on the waiver wire or something.
Oh, word on the street is Tom Compton's out there.
Hey, I don't know. Let's.
I can't be that worse. I'm just saying.
I don't know.
I got them Tom Compton jokes, man. That's what I got.
But I don't know, man.
We definitely want to see the backup step up, and those windows are going to be tight for his throws this year. You think so? You think his throws are going to be tight on the windows?
I think they'll play. I think they'll play him a little different, especially with that offense. I think with our offensive line, if McKivitz is somewhat of a liability, I think they'll force him to throw that ball deep. I think so.
I mean, in order for this Niners offense to go to the next level, we got to have a deep passing game at least and be more than just a running team, because in order for a team to win a Super Bowl, you got to have a good passing game.
Yeah, I don't think defense wins Super Bowl anymore. I think it's the quarterbacks and the offense.
Yeah, the games have changed over the years. Like, I like how John Lynch builds a culture with a defense, but it doesn't always win you championships at this point. Even with a Brad Johnson, you don't win Super Bowls with Brad Johnson. You have to win with more than that, and you got to have a really brilliant play caller. And when it comes to the big stage, Shanahan just doesn't know how to get it done in the big games.
Yeah, if it was defense wins championships, we would have kept Jimmy G and seen what we did with Jimmy G and him controlling the offense, getting the ball into the players' hands. But that's not the case. Yeah. We need a quarterback who can do some things with it. So,
yeah. So, which player on the Broncos that you're kind of excited to check out?
Javonte Williams. I want to see if he's healthy for fantasy reasons.
Ooh,
I want to see if he's healthy.
Okay.
Yeah.
As far as for the Broncos, I mean, I wouldn't say for fantasy purposes, but maybe I want to see a little bit of Cortland Sutton out there. Mm-hmm. Just see how he looks. I mean, he's kind of been like their other best receiver besides Judy, but I'm kind of intrigued by that. And I want to see how they look with this offense, but I don't think Russell's going to play any series. Maybe 1 or 2 series, maybe we'll see. But
I think he should. A new coach, they played terrible last year. Give him a series. I want to see him. Give him a series. I like Judy. I want to see Judy. I think he runs some of the best routes in the league. So I want to see Judy against some of our corners, depending on which ones play. Hopefully, Ambry Thomas. I want to see him against some better receivers. I know the Raiders held out like their top 3 or 4 receivers. So
yeah. So that tune changed from Ambry Thomas because he was on your doghouse for a while.
No, I mean he's still there, but he's caught my attention. He caught my attention for sure. Like it was one where the receiver ran like a post dig, and he just broke on it. His footwork looked so nice. Like he looked good in that rep and some of the other reps. So I was like, let me see if the Ambry Thomas hype is real. So
yeah, let's see if he did better. Let's see if he improves better, because all that is just, it means nothing at this point. But yeah, like when it comes down to it, bro, Ambry Thomas has just been losing confidence, if I'm being honest with you. Like this guy was like, he was good as a rookie, but what lost those it always comes with confidence as a DB. You got to have confidence to lock down your receiver. And if you don't do that, it don't mean nothing, bro. So he kind of like misplaced, looked lost, and then you got Diamante Lenore, who's actually outperforming him.
Yeah. So when I think of Ambry Thomas, I don't think of a starter for us. I think more so him coming in, maybe on nickel, letting Demo move inside to nickel, while Ambry Thomas plays on the outside. But so
yeah,
I don't look at him as a starter for us anymore. He's definitely a rotational piece.
More like a Dante Johnson at this point.
Whew, hopefully not that. Hopefully better. Hopefully better. No disrespect to Dante Johnson. I mean, he did it a long time. But hopefully better than that. He's young. He can get better.
Yeah, that's important. That's the most important key. So for everybody else that doesn't know that my boy Josh Harper got a channel, man, go sub him up. I left it under the description, and it's in the comment section. If you guys want to go sub him up, let's get him up to 50 or 100. We're working on that road, man. We're working on that road, but help my brother out a little bit, man.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate it. And
then likewise, the ones on my channel as well. Go ahead and like and sub my boy CG.
For sure, man. Let's get it. And how the wide receiver from ECU looking for the Niners? What?
Yeah. The dude, he big dude who got a lot of routes. I think he's number 2.
Oh, East Carolina. You're talking about Winston, right? Winston.
Yeah, Winston. He had a nice grab on the sideline from Darnold. Nice tough grab.
Oh yeah, that tall receiver that Isaiah Winston dude. Yeah, I seen him made a couple key catches. He looked pretty decent, but I think he's still a work in progress. But
yeah, practice squad. I can see practice squad and work in progress. And I think I like what they have to work with though. So
yeah, so
I would like to see him on practice squad.
So since Ray-Ray McCloud's going to miss some significant time, which receiver has a good chance to make that roster? If you're being honest.
So I know the politics behind keeping veteran receivers who are probably your 4th or 5th receiver. So I think Conley should make the roster, but again, I know the politics behind that, and he may be the odd man out who gets cut and maybe brought back to practice squad if they're able to, or just have him in the wings waiting just in case an injury happens to one of our starters. But I definitely think it's Ronnie Bell. He caught kicks, he caught punts, and that's all we need him to do is catch everything. Don't fumble until Ray-Ray McCloud gets back. So I think Ronnie Bell has the inside scoop on that role until Ray-Ray McCloud gets back.
I mean, he made some nice catches. He did return pretty solid. So I think it would be pretty obvious, but we got to see a couple more games to get an idea. But so far, I do like Ronnie Bell. And you're right, Chris Conley is a veteran. He's got speed. He made some nice catches and all that stuff. So that's a possibility. But I think they want a guy who can return kicks also. Yeah. That's more important key. And like you said, it's politics because if you can do both of everything, then you have a good chance to make the team.
Yeah, and again, so we have Ayuk, we have Debo, Jennings, Ray-Ray McCloud. That's
Danny
4
Gray.
already.
Danny Gray,
that's 5. So where does Conley fit in? Like he's not a returner.
So it'll have to be Ronnie Bell.
It'll be Ronnie Bell. So
yeah, Ronnie Bell. But then Jameson can make return kicks too, even though he's a corner, but still.
Yeah. And I like I want to see more of Jameson. Like he has some good returns, regardless of the penalty or not. He has some good returns.
Yeah, McCloud could return kicks, and he is a little electrifying at times. Like he can do a little bit of everything. He's kind of like the miniature Debo Samuel.
McCloud.
Yeah, McCloud. He's kind of like the miniature because he can do it all.
Yeah, I like Keith Rogers' next comment.
Wish we could go. Oh, dude, come on! Then give me a cheat code, man.
I know, right?
Didn't he get suspended for gambling?
Yeah, Calvin Ridley is an underrated receiver in the NFL. Still, I think he's a top 10 receiver.
Yeah, so, Jaguars got a steal. So
and he runs crazy routes, and that's what I like in a receiver that runs crazy routes. So.
Yeah, maybe before the season, we'll get your top 5 list for that week. We'll make a list for you so you can put your top 5 receivers. Like on a weekly basis, you can put your little top 5 list.
Right. Yeah. So
yeah,
I'm excited.
Yeah, we're all excited, bro. We're looking forward to it. But I know you probably got some stuff to do in a bit, man. So for everybody else, man, go sub up to my boy Josh Harper TV and go follow him on Twitter, man. This guy is growing. This guy is doing an awesome job. And before he became such a big buzz, man, this was the guy that wanted me to do a podcast with him, like behind the scenes. Let's be real, man. We've been working pretty well.
Yeah, no, for sure. No, yeah, you did bring it to my attention that I should do a podcast or whatnot. So, no, yeah.
I mean, it got your interest, but it was more like, I wasn't pushing it like most people would,
Yeah, no, yeah, you're a good dude, man, But no, I'm excited, and yeah, I love working and talking about the Niners. So, like I said, I'm not turning it down, man.
You're not turning it down, and you know what, man? It is what it is. But my guys got to go, and we got to go. We'll see y'all next week. We're going to have a good show, man. But for everybody else, thank you guys for tuning in. And as always, me and Josh out, and go Niners.
Go Niners.